Yo, what's going on, guys? That boy Treezy here. Yes, I'm still alive and well. I know it's been a while since I've dropped a video with actual commentary on it, but you know, still got to do my thing. The time is right. The time is now, seeing as update 1.4 is imminent. Is a mere, at the time of recording, 2 days away from its release. So, with the amount of passion, emotion and time that I've put into the division since its release, I had to put aside a bit of time to put this video together. Now, excuse me, this is my main agent. He's rocking the Tactician's Authority set and has been for a while, with a couple of pieces of blind for the extra pulse critical hit damage. Pretty nice all-rounder. The skill power to begin with isn't amazing, but the bonus that I get from having the 4 pieces of Tactician's Authority gives him a good enough boost on the skill power. He's also using an old school SMG 1.2 version with a critical hit chance, although that's going to be changed in update 1.4. It's got a pretty beefy assault rifle, which will hopefully stay beefy come the new update. A marksman rifle, which is a Sorkum M1A, I think a first wave M1A, which is going to be nerfed. What else has he got? Shotgun, I think a version of the M870, which is going to be nerfed as well, and one of the L86 type LMGs, which could actually be buffed up and might actually become the main weapon. So this is a bit of gameplay of Queen's Tunnel Camp on challenging mode by myself. I previously recorded 4 separate videos, one of each agent playing this mission on heroic with randoms, because I'd messed around with my settings beforehand, video settings. The aspect ratio of the video came out incorrectly, and my laptop couldn't handle 1080p 60 frames per second anyway, so I've had to go back to the old school settings for 720 and 30 frames per second. So hopefully the quality is still okay, hopefully the audio's okay. So, at the time of recording, this is obviously 1.3. This is the last video I'll be doing of 1.3 with this character. I am going to hopefully record some gameplay with my other 3 agents as well. I probably won't bother with the commentary over them, as it's more than likely not going to be needed. That'll just be like raw gameplay for, you know, for keep's sake, if you will. But it'll be the last video for each of them. Hopefully I'll get them all recorded and uploaded before the update hits. Mainly this one, I'm not overly fussed about the other 3. As long as I get this one uploaded before the update hits, that'd be great. Now, in terms of the game as a whole, I've personally enjoyed it from day one. I know it's had its issues, I know it's had update 1.2, update 1.3, and other changes along the way as well. Small changes that sometimes came with maintenance, but it's still been a banging ass game. And in the current state it's in, I've mainly, well, pretty much entirely enjoyed grinding the underground, to be honest. I see a lot of people posting forums and stuff and on news stories that the underground got boring pretty quickly, but to me it didn't. For me personally, it got to the stage where heroic was pretty much the way to go all the time, and it's still, well, it was still challenging enough that it kept it fresh, it kept it entertaining, and the risk of, you know, everyone dying and that being it entirely for the mission was pretty intense, especially if you was the last man standing. So, you know, that did keep me in the loop of things, and the whole daily assignments, daily missions, weekly assignments and whatnot kept me coming back for more. Even though it did start to get a bit pointless with the items and gear that was dropping from everything bar underground heroic. I still enjoyed it. I was still saving up Phoenix credits, still being able to scrap stuff for resources and stuff, and I was still piling through my Phoenix credits because, you know, when you're maintaining 4 agents, there's always a weapon that can be rolled, there's always a, you know, a talent that can be rolled and whatnot. So, you know, all in all, I've still been enjoying the game. For the past, I'd say, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 2, I have took a break from the game, and I have said over the past month or so that I was going to chill out a little bit from the game, which I did, but I was still putting a lot of hours into it per week. I just couldn't help myself. It's been such a good game that I can just, you know, pick up, maybe do one daily task, maybe do a whole set of daily tasks, you know what I mean? Put it down, job was good, and obviously because I was playing it so much, I've become so used to everything, it was just really easy to get into. And with the gaming that I'm forced to do now, which is like in bite-sized chunks most of the time compared to how I used the game, it's just worked out so well. But since Gears of War 4 came out and Mafia 3 came out, I have actually only touched the game maybe 3 times. I think, what did I come back for the first time? I can't remember what I came back for. I think I might have just done a quick sneaky set of days off. No, I think I did like an underground mission with one of my other characters. I can't remember why. I must have had it. I think it was during a week off or a fortnight off, so I had a little bit of time to spare then. And then obviously I came back to it recently to make those recordings that all 4 of them actually got binned anyway. So I have actually, you know, stuck by my guns with taking a break and getting back into achievement hunting a little bit. But even then, with the way, like I say, with the way I have the game now, you know, working nights, like today is a good example. It's Sunday right now. I finished work at 7. I came home with the plan of actually doing this recording as soon as I got in, because obviously everyone will still be asleep for a few hours. The minute I walked through the door, the kids were crying. No, one of my girls was crying. She woke the youngest up. My missus must have already been up from the kids crying. She decided she may as well wake the lad up, and then within 5 minutes of me being in the house, everyone was downstairs. Baby TV was on, and I was like, no. So it's just literally been kids all morning. I mean, granted, I've not had to do a lot. My missus is pretty cool like that. She knows, like, I just want to chill after you finish the night's work, so she looked after the kids more, if you will. But you still can't play Xbox or anything like that. I pointlessly tried to play a bit of Mafia 3 through my laptop, because if you have the Xbox app on your laptop for Windows 10, you can actually stream the game through your laptop monitor. But because we've got this shitty TV stand in the living room, my youngest, who's just turned 1 last month, can just simply crawl up to the Xbox, hit the button, turn it off, and then I have to sign in again manually because I've got a passcode thing on my profile to be able to stream again. But you can't sign in via the stream. You have to be able to see what you're doing to enter the buttons in the code if the Kinect camera doesn't pick me up. So that lasted all but 2 minutes, and then she went to work, and then I had to get all kids ready to take them to her mum's until about 3 or 4 o'clock when she finishes work, so then I can go to sleep, and then I'll get up, sit there like a zombie for about half an hour, get ready for work, and then away I go. But anyway, you're not here to hear about that. I forgot what I was saying now. Yeah, so I've been playing Gears of War 4, which has been alright, but again, you know, it's bite-sized gaming, so I've only really been playing it in bits, and I've not really played it with any friends, any of my online buddies. I mean, none of the core Gears of War boys that I used to roll with have even bought the game. I've been played a little bit with Dave Kinetic, fellow news hound, and well, I guess he's a boss man now really for True Achievements. But we've only played together once, and that's been about it really. So I've completed the campaign on normal. I've mainly played Horde really, trying to level up the different not characters, but different classes. I've been working on the heavy class. I think he's up to level 4 now. Multiplayer, I don't really like playing it by myself. I mean, I'm not overly keen on the multiplayer anyway. It's alright, it's got that, you know, good old Gears of War intensity, but nothing will ever beat the original Gears of War multiplayer. And obviously that did come back with Gears of War Ultimate Edition, but it's kind of gone back to the more fast-paced, more wall-bouncing, inconsistent shotgunning Gears of War style gameplay. So it's been a mixed experience really with that, but I'm just trying to do the placement matches at the minute and get that achievement out of the way. And then Mafia 3, I wasn't originally planning on buying that. Gears of War 4 was kind of a treat for myself. And when I went to the midnight release to buy it, Mafia 3 came out on at the same time, if you will, so I just thought, screw it. Bought myself that as well. But all in all, those two games, obviously Gears of War 4 being the early edition, Mafia 3, I ended up buying the deluxe edition to get the season pass with it as well. I must have spent 100 and something stupid quid anyway, and I only had, I think I put 40 towards with game credit, and I had to put a lot of money towards it, so that's kind of, and I couldn't really sensibly afford it anyway, so that's kind of knocked the other games that I wanted to buy for the year out the window really. I've had to give Battlefield 1 a miss for now. That was going to have to wait. Same with Titanfall 2. Same with Batman's Return to Arkham. I think the only game I'll probably get before the end of the year's up will be Final Fantasy 15. And I'll try and sneak Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2 and Watch Dogs 2 and the Assassin's Creed collection and Batman. I think there was another one as well. I'll try and sneak them all on my Christmas list, although that's asking a lot. Oh god, I bought Duke Nukem as well. I mean, that was only 13 quid I think it was, or 16 quid. Bought that as well as another little treat, so I really took it OTT there. But it is what it is. It's my first main treat. Well, it's probably second treat of the year, second set of treats for the year, because obviously the Division was a treat back at the beginning of the year. But yeah, as for the upcoming update 1.4, I don't know what to think really. I covered the story on when the release date was announced, obviously October 25th, this Tuesday after the maintenance, but I didn't want to include the patch notes, because the patch notes that they've tweeted to people that had asked for them on Twitter, it says at the top of the list that these changes are not finalised. They are something in regards to the PTS and the 1.3, but that whole these patch notes are not finalised kind of put me off putting it into the story. But I'm guessing if they are tweeting it out to people that are asking, that the patch that they're showing that they tweeted must be what's going to come to the game. So it's pretty much the same list that I covered in one of the previous stories on the Division. I mean, I'll link it in my video description anyway, so you can see it. I mean, obviously if you're a passionate player of the Division anyway, you're already going to have seen them, but it's quite a lengthy list. And in terms of, I mean, the patch in general, I've seen a lot of positive responses to the PC players who was able to play in the public test server, because if you didn't know, for this patch, Massive has really got the community involved, even to the extent of inviting a select number of people to come to their studio in Sweden. I think that was back end of September, to do like a workshop type thing to discuss what people want to see in the upcoming update, because obviously if update 1.2, 1.3 they pretty much did their own thing, and then this time around as well, exclusively for PC players, they opened up what they call a public test server, and obviously experimented with things, received feedback, made changes, and they had like 4 separate weeks of 4 different things, if you will. So like I say, all in all, the responses have been quite good. There's going to be... I'm going to have to do this off the top of my head now. Well, I could open up a cheeky link actually while I'm saying it. I know that there's going to be world tiers, which is one of the first things they announced. So basically you can have world tier 1 to 4, 4 being the highest, if you will, the hardest setup, which will give you the best oh god, I can't remember now. I think it's any tier will give you good gear. It all depends on what your gear score is. But the higher the tier, the more gear that will drop. But obviously the tougher the enemies will be as well. So I think for most people who've been smashing the game, it's going to be well, you know, people are going to be diving straight into world tier 4. Now let's have a look. So there was the whole thing with power gap between players, but a player like me who's been bashing the game non-stop to a fresh new level 30 characters, so obviously they wanted to scale that down a little bit, but close that gap, if you will. Time to kill is shorter now than it used to be, which I guess makes sense, but in a way most of you average to pretty good players will have like adapted to the length of time it would have took to kill most enemies anyway, especially in terms of the underground, you know, on heroic against elite level 35 enemies, especially the heavies. Alright, fair enough, it did take a hell of a long time to kill them, but people just dealt with it and you know, did what they did best to deal with the enemies. And I think time to kill enemies combined with how hard they hit you, the time to kill you, it was very unbalanced, but it made for very intense missions, and it really forced players to take the time and think about what they were doing. One thing that I am concerned about with the upcoming update is it going to become too easy to go through missions and stuff, because another big change is doing away with heroic completely, besides in incursions. Now heroic was something that they only introduced, I'm sure they only introduced that in 1.3, I could be wrong, but it wasn't in the game to begin with. So you know what I mean, they put it in and they're taking it back out. And I like playing on heroic for underground, and even in a 4-man squad, playing heroic normal missions wasn't that difficult. So I am a bit worried that most things might become a little bit easier. So there's that. There's a lot of changes coming to gear. What they're doing away with 268s and 240s. I think the highest now is going to be 229. Although I don't think that'll affect... obviously that's just the score, that's the symbol, if you will. That's not going to change how you know, how strong your gear was. And there's a hell of a lot. I mean, I could go on all day. There's a hell of a lot of other changes, skill power. There'll be no more skill power on gear pieces anymore. Certain skills have been changed, have been buffed, have been reduced. The signature skills have changed. There's a hell of a lot, really. But again, when you look at the list, you'll be like, wow, that is quite a lot of changes. Some of the changes that I think will affect me in terms of the main agent, obviously losing the 1.2 MP5 that I've got is going to be quite a biggie. But I guess I can't complain about that, because they should have technically got rid of that when 1.3 came along, but for some reason they didn't do anything with the legacy weapons, if you will. So I've still been smashing the life out of NPCs with an old school SMG. But not only will it lose its critical hit chance bonus, all SMGs are going to see the base damage reduced. And I guess you could go as far as saying again. But the MP5 I think is hit hardest. No, I think it's hit second hardest, or maybe first. Maybe third, sorry. I know the AUG and the Vector have definitely been nerfed again, which was quite shocking, as that I personally thought the Vector and AUG had become extremely useless when 1.3 was released, so they're getting reduced again, and the MP5 is getting its base damage reduced. So for me personally, with mine being a 1.2 version, I'm going to lose a lot of DPS with that. And then the first wave M1A that I had, the base damage is going to be reduced on that as well. I think it's probably still going to be an effective weapon, but I might lean more towards one of the bolt action ones because they're getting buffed up. I do have various weapons and gear pieces in my stash that I think might be good for when things do change. Excuse me, and that does include bolt action rifles, different gear sets and whatnot. I mean, it's mainly just the build-up of stuff I've not bothered to sort out really, but some of the stuff might hopefully turn out quite good. And then in terms of the gear this agent rocks, again it's the Tactician's Authority. 4 pieces Tactician's Authority, that's all getting chopped and changed now. You don't get the extra skill power for 2 pieces. I think it's an extra extra 10% skill haste. I could be wrong now, I can't think what that was going to be. I know the main bonus, the 4-piece bonus, is changing, because at the minute it adds 1% of skill power for every 60,000 damage that the group does, which is very easy to get the 100% bonus on that. And I think now it's going to do 0.2%. It gives you a 0.2% bonus. I don't know if that's for every shot. I'm going to open that up actually and check. But basically it's not going to be as effective as it was, but if skill power and everything's being changed, it might still work out pretty decently. It's not going to be anywhere near as beastie as it was. But I'm just going to really quickly open the patch notes just to have a look. And then the blind as well is apparently changing to Banshee, which is a Dark Zone based gear set. So here we go. 2 pieces will give me 10% skill haste, which is pretty nice. Alright, 3 pieces gives you 10% skill power. And then for the 4 pieces, every bullet you and your group lands on a hostile adds 0.2% skill power to you for a max of 30%. So that is quite the reduction, but also the bonus only lasts for 10 seconds of not being refreshed, or 10 seconds of being at the max. So that's quite a big change, because at the minute you can get it 100% and it will just slowly drop. It will take obviously 100 seconds to drop, whereas now it's not going to last any more than 10 seconds if it's at the max or you ain't shooting anyone. So that's quite interesting. And then yeah, here the blind becomes the Banshee. So rather than getting an extra, I think it was 20% pulse critical hit, mine will give me plus 20% Dark Zone currency. Which the Dark Zone I've not really ventured in for a long time, because I always end up playing the game by myself, so that's not going to work out too well. So I'll have to see what I can change that to. But yeah, I don't know really, it's hard to say what my plans are going to be really for the future. I mean, I've got, my 4th agent is the full on tactical guy anyway, so he could just rock the tactician stuff by himself, and I could maybe chop and change this agent. But then again, there's the stability, the accuracy, all the weapon factors and whatnot are changing as well. And the mods that you can add to gear pieces are changing as well, so you know, it's effectively like the game's being rebuilt, which effectively is going to make people have to rebuild the builds, basically. So I don't know what I'll lean. It's got me thinking now. I don't know what I'll lean more towards really with this guy. I mean, I'm definitely going to try and statistically keep him as an all-rounder. but I'm not particularly interested in the Dark Zone stuff, to be honest, because you can't roll in the Dark Zone by yourself. There's one thing that I have noticed with the patch, despite the massive amount of changes that are coming, there isn't really that much that's changing in the Dark Zone, in my opinion. I know they've changed up the item drops and whatnot, but there's no major changes, nothing that's really going to affect the PvP side of the game. I mean, the changes in general to the game itself might change the way people play and whatnot, but I still think, you know, if you're rolling by yourself and you bump into a group of 4 people who are not looking to play friendly, you're in a lot of trouble. So ideally I'll probably try and get the 2 soon-to-be Banshee pieces swapped out, really. So yeah, I'll have to see about that one. I can't really think off the top of my head what I want to equip with him, really. I mean, having a quick look now, 2 pieces of something else. Or maybe even 3 pieces, because if the 4 piece isn't worth it anymore, it might be better just to rock 3 pieces of Tacticians. Which still won't work out too bad, because obviously my other agent's got 4 pieces anyway, so he can be the tactical guy. So 3 pieces of something else. You know, the Striker's thing doesn't look too bad now. 2 pieces, 20% stability, 3 pieces, 10% armor damage. So that could make him... That'd be pretty good for an all-rounder. But then you got the Sentry's Call, 30% aiming accuracy, 3 pieces give me 10% headshot damage. So, you know, there's a few things I could do there. But obviously I'm going to be bashing the game anyway, getting gear left, right and centre by the looks of things, because obviously the drop's going to be a lot more frequent now. NPCs are going to be more frequent in the open world, as well as named bosses. So it gives me a bit more reason to get back into the open world and not just simply fast travel everywhere. Excuse me. For my second agent, who was supposed to be the tank guy, he's still using the Predator's Mark stuff, but he does still have in his inventory the Reclaimer set, 4-piece Reclaimer set, 4-piece Final Measure, or maybe I've only got 3 pieces all left. Well, I know he's got Reclaimer, he's got Final Measure, and he's got Alpha Bridge. But I'm quite tempted to bring the Final Measure stuff back into play now, because they've actually fixed well, not fixed it, but made the 4-piece better now. The grenade buff, you don't have to damage someone to get that to work anymore. That'll just work as it should. But I might still actually try to build him more towards health. I might let him like don the armor and whatnot as well, because that's another thing that's changing in the update, is the armor factor as well. My third agent was the DPS man. He's currently using Sentry's Call, 4 pieces at the minute, although they're doing away with 5 pieces anyway. If he keeps that, let's have a look. So the aiming accuracy, headshot damage. Headshots mark the enemy, increasing the damage inflicted on the target by 5% for a duration of 30 seconds each. So this is again not as effective as it stands now, but that might still be an effective gear set once the game changes. But obviously I'll still try and scale him to whatever the best DPS is going to be, the best like firearm setup. And then obviously my last guy is the skill power build, so he probably will stick with the Tactician's Authority. So, I mean, that's about it really. I could go on all day about what I could do to this agent, what I could do to that agent, but, you know, the main plan is I'm still going to stick with maintaining the 4 agents. I mean, I've still got Gears of War 4 to play, I've still got Mafia 3 to play, and obviously Final Fantasy as well when that comes out. I'm probably going to try and still play this maybe once a week, maybe do a full set of dailies once a week, take it in turns with each agent, if you will. I'll probably give it a really good blast on the night the patch changes, which I might stream that actually, because I am off Monday night, Tuesday night, so the patch will go live Tuesday morning. Oh no, hold on, Tuesday morning. I might be, at least I'll be able to get it downloaded, if it does require a manual download, that morning. Have a quick little go of it, then go to sleep, wake up, start bashing it again. Yeah, so I might stream that. I might stream that on the Tuesday night. That'd be like the early hours of Wednesday morning, if you will. So check that out on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/thatboytreezy. But besides that, yeah, I'll still be rocking Gears of War 4, working on the Horde stuff in that. Mafia 3, just slowly getting through the story. If I get the time, I mean, it's not going to be this coming week, it may be the week after, depending on what my nights off are. I'll try and record more stuff. I mean, obviously you see it in the stream anyway, but for those who would just check out my stuff on YouTube, I'll do another video to show the difference between 1.3 and 1.4. I mean, it won't be an amazing comparison, it's just going to be basically, you know, you've seen this video now as it is in 1.3, and then I'll record the same mission again, solo, on challenging, in the 1.4 state. And I'll probably do that with each agent as well. Again, the other agents be more for a keepsake, so we'll see how big the changes are and whatnot. And I'll still be doing my monthly build reports as well on my blog over at True Achievements, so check that out. That just breaks down each 4 agents build month after month, see what's changed and whatnot. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching, stay tuned for the stream, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.